Went in on the Willie Lynch Letter. I'm not gonna say too much. Stay tuned. We finna get it cracking. Oh, hola, hey. Hola, hey.
Roll, kid playing.
See who just.
You look back like you was looking for it.
Now I'm trying to get the camera straight. Trying to see who looking. What's up, Kelly? Okay, it said 4 people were watching, but I don't know who the other 3 are. Whoever y'all are, thank you for watching. We're going in Willie Lynch Letter tonight. Yes, we're live. Get my Facebook up so we get some comments or something I can at least say them or acknowledge them. Hopefully. My computer's running slow. I get it. 6 people watching. Hey, everybody watching. Hey, the Dallas Cowboys won.
You motherfucker right. I know somebody gonna be watching tonight just see if I'm wearing this shirt.
And Tennessee didn't win
Hey
yesterday.
man, we gonna talk about that. It's been a great weekend. The Steelers lost.
We still Vols fans. I'm still a Vols fan. I don't really care. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Y'all ready? What up, Mickey? Stick with us, Mickey. We're going in tonight. Yeah. Oh, I cut the radio off.
Technical difficulty.
Well, I'm being technically difficult. That's all that is. Oh, I don't have it plugged in. That's a problem. We don't have the speaker system plugged in. Oh, shucky ducky quack quack. I can find the gosh darn cord. Much better quality of sound. Yes.
It's a lighter.
Yeah, that's a lighter. That's an old school lighter.
That's one of the lighters from the set.
Hey.
Damn
That's
party.
why you like them cigarettes with the little plastic tip on the end of them.
You might think this mug out and I ain't no from on all. I might think got food thing down here.
Man, my granddad used to smoke too.
So you put
I don't think my grandma let us smoke in the house though. Yeah.
I wonder if it still works.
She tried to burn the house down. Y'all saw that. We got a junior arsonist. I can't see who all looking right now. Hey, appreciate y'all for watching though. But y'all ready?
It still works.
Y'all ready? Okay. Here we go. Uno, dos, tres. Hey, welcome to the It's About Time show. I am your co-host, Chuck Beard. I have my illustrious co-host, the Queen, Miss Nicole.
Hello.
And I got my other co-host, the Candyman, the Noble himself, and Mr. Anton Birch with us.
What to do, party people?
And we also have a special guest with us this evening. She was with us on the show last week. Miss Felicia Cotton is with us this evening.
Hey, Felicia. Hey.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Bye.
But tonight's topic, we're going in on the Willie Lynch Letter. We've alluded to it, we've referred to it a bunch of different times on the show, but tonight we're just going to take the time to make sure that we cover it thoroughly and also make sure that y'all see the relevance in what was in the letter in today's society. All that being said, y'all, if you are a fan of the show, have watched the show, have tuned in with us before, fan or not, we normally start with the what the fuck Chuck segment, right? And this week, And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take a little bit of air out of the room. I apologize about that. But since this is my little segment, I gotta pay homage. This week I lost my best friend. R.I.P. Joe Black, my dog. I had to put my dog down this week. I'm a little brokenhearted about it. I'm hurt. I'm upset. All those kind of good things there. But
Like, did you seriously do that? You want me to cry?
no, I don't want you to cry on the show. But I'm saying like for
Real
the
talk,
what
if
the
he
fuck
didn't do
shit
it, I was
segment.
gonna do it at some point in the doggone
Yeah.
segment. So
Yeah, I mean, and then if anybody knew me, had been around me to my house, whatever, y'all seen my dog. Because my dog went everywhere with me. And, well, until the last, like, year or so. But, I mean, you know, he survived 15 years, and it was time. Actually, it was past time. It should have been done probably sooner than that. But, you know, R.I.P. to my big baby, Joe Black, you know, appreciate that, Charlie. Charlie said R.I.P. Joe. Actually, Charles Rosenthal, who, if y'all are on Facebook, he's the one that actually sold Joe Black to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 15 years ago, 2001.
big up, Charles.
Yep.
I met Joe, and it was instant connection. It was an instant connection.
My dog liked women. And I guess because we family, she might have smelled like me or something.
It was instant connection and love. Like, he was my riding buddy.
Man,
Like, I pull up, he know what time it is, let's go outside. He jumping up, let's go outside, let's go for a ride. Let's go eat. We go to McDonald's just to get him some French fries. Like, yeah, that was my dog right there.
Yeah.
Like, not just literally my dog, that was my dog. And I don't know if any of you guys saw the post, but it's like I said, he was a friend to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that met Joe
Loved Joe.
loved Joe because he was so big, he looked so mean, but he was nowhere near that. Like, he was the biggest baby
And
that you could ever meet.
Ron and I would always say, if he knew, whenever he found out he was a pit bull.
Yeah.
Because
When
he was a
found
pit
out
bull, but
he
he
was
wasn't a pit bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the look of a pit bull, but the attitude that you would think, it was, no, that was the biggest baby.
And since this is the What the Fuck Chuck segment, I'm going to end it on a little happier note. I'm going to tell a story about the dog.
Lord.
So, one time I'm riding in the car, right? My homeboy asked me to come pick him up.
I think I remember this.
And don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I'm riding in the car going to get the homie, right? I pick him up, and his phone rings. And he's like, hello? And then, you know, kind of looked strange at his phone and like hung up. And I was like, who is that? He's like, man, you're not going to believe it, but that was your phone that just called me. So I pulled back up in my house, hop out. I got a little bat in the car. I hop out with the bat in one hand, my knife in the other hand. You know, whoever in my house, you know, I'm finna get him. I walk in, and my dog got my cell phone between his two front paws and was just gnawing on it. just chewing on my little phone. Anyway, that's the What the Fuck Chuck segment. R.I.P. Joe Black. Thank y'all for y'all's condolences and all that kind of good stuff. Now, we're going to the segment called Give It To 'em Queen.
Give it to him, Queen.
Give it to him, Queen.
Give it to him, Queen. We need to come up with a song. I need a song.
Man, if we could have Latifah's jump in, I'm telling you, give it to him, Queen. You got it. Man, look. Yeah, we ain't got to put a Latifah part in there. I'm just saying, man. That fits right off, man.
Yeah, I need a song. Shout out to our musicians out there. I need a song. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about much today. I wanted to kind of keep it on like the presidential side again. And the reason that I want to do that is because I think it's very, very, very important that we get out there and vote. And I've been hearing a lot of people and a lot of comments, not just on social media, but people I encounter with at work. just on a daily basis saying, I'm not going to vote.
Yep.
Or, I don't like either one of them. Okay, that's okay. But still go to the poll because you have what you call third-party candidates. Now, a lot of people have an argument and a debate on whether if you vote for those types of, it doesn't really get you anywhere, because voting for the most popular, you know, that's what a lot of people consider. But I just want to throw that out there, that you do have third-party candidates, and there are a lot of them. So I would suggest to Google it, you know, do your research. When you go to the poll, if Donald Trump nor Hillary Clinton is not one that you want to vote for, at least vote for somebody, because it's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. And I don't know, I'll say this, lately it seems like Mr. Trump has really been sabotaging himself, so it's going to be interesting, but it's also, if you think about it, to me, I don't think we have either of the best. It's like getting the devil or the devil's mama. So, I mean, it's one or the other at this point, but like I said, you do have third-party candidates.
I'm going to tell you what's so disturbing about what's going on with Donald Trump right now. It's the fact that it doesn't matter what he does or says or has done or is being prosecuted for, the people that support him blindly still support him.
Because it's those people that are part of that damn establishment, man. The motherfuckers that ain't been out, that ain't talked, the undercover racists, they're giving that platform. Did you know, I watched this weekend, this lady came to a Trump rally and said, if Hillary gets elected, we should riot. She said we should start a revolution. Are you fucking serious? And sad to say, she looked to be African American. She looked mixed, because I'm not going to repeat what Pop said, because he was going the hell off when he discovered what she was. But man, it's bringing out these jaded people, man. It's bringing out the jaded. It's bringing out those that have been pushed back and voiceless. Well, not voiceless, but not able to speak their opinion or want to speak their opinion because of how it used to be when we were growing up, where nobody gave us shit. It's politically correct now, so they're not going to say anything. But now, this man is giving them that voice, and they're just coming from everywhere, and they're going to be with him.
Yeah, and I think, and I heard this said, what it is, it's the first time in U.S. history where you see a white man not at the head or at the lead. And I think that scares the majority of white men because they feel like they're losing control. Yeah, it's a power struggle thing. And, you know...
So it's like vote for him because we don't want to lose that.
But what these idiots are not understanding, especially the poor, uneducated white men, that he's gonna have them fucking suffering just as much as us. If more so than not more so, because my dad firmly believes that this is all against us, the blacks.
Look,
but still, those mugs are gonna suffer just as bad.
They are, but that's what's gonna cause our black community. How we've had so many issues and so many turmoil, anger on top of anger on top of anger. Their anger and racism, that's just gonna cause even more anger when they realize this man ain't really for you. You know.
And that's part of what we're gonna talk about with this letter tonight too, because it addresses that. The same thing that we're seeing right now, it addresses
but
that.
You're gonna people, you just gotta wake up. You're gonna put a man in that can't handle his businesses, that treat people like crap, and he's supposed to be an equal opportunity man. You know what I'm saying?
And he's on trial for raping a 13-year-old.
That just can't get past.
And see, you know, and then he's trying to blast Saturday Night Live. That should be kind of wild because they talking about you. Oh, the media is putting all this, man. What the fuck you think you're doing to Hillary? You're just like the media. But when it come out on you, man, it's just
it's crazy.
Look. For those that don't want to vote, you can. As I've always said, you don't vote, you can't complain.
You can't complain. You really can't.
But when you don't vote, you just you're just contributing to the cause of the other person getting elected. And then what can you say? You didn't vote.
You didn't vote. You didn't go out.
You can't be mad.
So really quickly, just to touch back on this topic here, You don't have just Hillary Clinton, the Democratic and the Republican Party. You also have third party candidates. You have libertarian candidates, independent candidates, Green Party candidates, and Constitution Party candidates. So I'm urging you to Google this information, do your research, look it up. You have time. We have a couple of weeks before the poll comes up. And this could be somebody that's in your area. Like I said, there's a lot of them out there. So it could be somebody in your area that you're familiar with. And if you believe in their beliefs, if you think, and even though you haven't heard much from them, but if you do your research, I'm sure you'll get enough background to make your own decision on that. But all I'm saying is if you're not going for Hillary and you're not going for Trump, you would at least need to vote for one of these candidates and do your research before you do it, of course. But at least do that, because like Anton was saying, if you don't vote, you just contributing to whoever makes it up there.
Yep.
So.
And Mickey, my cousin in Louisville, shout out to Mickey. What's up?
Well, I mean,
he said he's voting for Jill Stein.
Okay, yes, I've heard a lot about Jill Stein. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. You're not going to hear a lot about these in the public media. You're going to have to really dig and do your research for these people. And it's not just men doing this, it's women that's running as well.
But can I say something? And get out and vote, and I dig that, but when you're giving hope to somebody that's not going to get it, you're still contributing to the lesser of the two evils. I mean, yeah, you don't want to vote for those two. Yeah, you got somebody else in there with a hope, but they're really not going to get in there. I mean, that's just real talk. But you're giving in to the lesser of the two evils. I mean, no matter how you feel about this.
Yeah.
And then I read an article. You know, it's bad that when major newspaper articles, because I subscribe to the Miami Herald at work just to get the news headlines. And they are the second major news company to come out and say we endorse Hillary Clinton. I mean, yeah, you don't want to. You hear all this, whatever emails. People get, man, I'm not gonna get into the military and political stuff for that, man, because that happens on everybody's watch. It's probably been far more done under other watches than what she did, and she wasn't even the head of state. But I mean, she has your better interests at heart than the other side, because if you got your own in party and your own party fighting, man, I mean, and they're not going to endorse it, and then you coming out against them, man. I mean, come on, man. The writing's on the wall. I mean, I understand you don't want to vote for neither one of them, but damn, you got to rationalize between it. One is worse than the other.
And you have to really consider that it is somewhat your responsibility, even just as an individual person. Even if you don't have any children, or even your parents, they're getting older, grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunts. Think about your family when it comes to this.
No, you really think about your children.
Yeah,
because that's the one, this election, in my opinion, is the one that's going to start affecting our children.
And that's something, that's a good point, because my daughter and I, we've been watching the election closely. And I want her to understand that you cannot believe everything you hear. Don't get into the hype. So we researched together and read about everything, because she was like, well, they said this about Miss Clinton, and they was like, well, we should vote for her because she's going to be the first woman to be president. I was like, but why would you?
Make you the best person to be president.
Exactly. So when she said that, I said, well, you need to go and find out what makes her qualified to be president of the United States. You can't just go based off because she's a woman. You can't just go based off of just that one fact. So I encourage people to do it as a family. You know, get your kids involved, because my daughter's 11, so she still have like 6 years to go. I'm not 11, she's 12. She got 6 years to go before she turns 18 and she can go vote. So I encourage everyone to, if you have kids, sit them down. If they can get on Snapchat, Facebook, and can do all this stuff, go live and all this other stuff, I tell her that she has to do something with the presidential election for 20 minutes and report it back. And we just make it a conversation, because that's where it starts. It's just a conversation. So that way she's not getting persuaded by her friends or what they say in school or seminar. I said, always do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Always do your research. And even just because it's on the internet don't make it
don't
true.
make it true.
You gotta research what you just researched. Just to make sure.
And I'm gonna say about this because I think a vast majority of the people that don't want to support Hillary Clinton is because of all this stuff with the emails, and I brought that up earlier.
Yeah.
But
It's easy to email
you're not
she's a woman.
condemning a
Right,
man
exactly.
that led you to a war of a fucking lie.
Yeah.
And got plenty of our fucking soldiers killed.
Yeah.
It was no weapons of mass destruction, people.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and move
Well,
on because we
the last
Yes, I'm
thing-
sorry,
Yeah,
man. We
I
get
wanted
on
to
this,
talk
man. This is
about-
hot, but please vote, people. Please
Yes,
vote.
please go out and vote, please. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was that movie that came on last night. Now, I'm coming from
shoot.
an
Oh, you
80s
watched it?
baby.
I forgot about
And when I say an 80s baby, I wasn't born yet, but like I was experienced. I had like, some of that experience in them days or whatever.
La.
And
La.
this Surviving Compton movie was wee. Let me tell you, like back then you heard that he was beating up on her then. So if you in my generation, we always knew this information. But for us to actually see it to be played out, like, I don't know if a lot of it was true or over exaggerated or what. But that Dre was a motherfucker. Now we already knew Suge was a motherfucker. Like he just
it.
presented
It was the same dude that was in the
as
movie I
yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed a damn
But
role.
that's
But I'm
right.
gonna get you on this. Okay, go ahead.
So I've been seeing a lot of people getting on social media saying we're not supporting Dre Beats anymore.
He don't
What
own
y'all fail to realize is he don't own them anymore.
Apple owns them.
So if you're not gonna do it, then you're not gonna support Apple.
Look,
So,
Dre got his billions.
He
man.
already got paid. So even if you stop doing it right now, he still done got paid off y'all ass.
Can I stir the pot on this?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna stir the pot on this. You know, hey, yeah, I believe because the biggest beef was because a lot of this was not in the Straight Outta Compton movie. Yeah,
I don't think it
okay.
should have been in the straight out.
Right, it was there for a purpose. Yeah, we know that they did some gorilla pimping and stuff. I'm just being real, man. We know that they did gorilla pimping. All right, come on, y'all. Look, don't. I'm not surprised,
Yeah.
but
That by Felicia scene.
yeah, man, the body. Hey, yeah, look at that. Easy was in there. Hey, look, Yella got kicked off because he's no girl name. Look, but that wasn't gorilla pimp. But I know they were beating on and all that. That's because they were young, brash, and whatever. I'm not condoning it. Please don't get it all twisted. I'm just saying. But look, look at where the production came, y'all. We all looking at Lifetime and we looking at global screens.
So what you trying to say?
I'm just saying.
That's gonna be a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, we can put it there because look, yeah, Miss
That don't
Chalet.
make it right.
It don't make it right. I didn't say it made it right. I didn't
That
make
don't
it
make
say
it right.
But you want to bring out, yeah, you want.
I mean, okay.
I'm just saying.
Anytime we talk about Hollywood embellishes on any story that they put out there. So I think,
Unless you have hands on, because the only reason, and I'm not glorifying it, your boys, they wrote that movie.
which one?
Straight
Straight
out of
Outta
Compton.
Compton.
Oh.
Yeah, they wrote it, but she did this one. She did the Surviving
But
Compton.
So late time to get y'all to.
But
I'm
the reason that she did it is because, okay, now back in the 80s, without NWA, there was no Michelle was in that.
Michelle, okay.
Without Michelle, NWA would not have been as big.
Bullshit, because she wasn't in the first
No.
couple of albums. Michelle had her last album.
She was in the
solo
background.
album. She was in the background. Well, that might be alright. We gonna research that one.
No, the Chronic may not have been as big as it was, But NWA still would have had Straight Outta Compton and
all
Business
that
for
what
Life.
I heard, man. I mean, I feel you, Queen, and I'm not bashing, please. I don't want no hate from
But
you
I'm just
ladies.
saying, that's the reason that she did her side of the story
Yeah.
because she wasn't even mentioned in Straight Outta
Right, no,
Compton.
she wasn't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she should have been
Because
mentioned
that was
in
not
Straight Outta
that
Compton.
wasn't really the sole mission of that movie. I
Yeah.
feel what you're saying, but it's about their influence on the game and where they came from.
I mean, I think, okay, they could have slid it in there the same way they slid Snoop Dogg in there. Because Snoop Dogg had about a 5-minute role. They could have intertwined Miss LA in there some kind of way. However, I'm with you on that one, Square. Well, I don't think that it should have been a highlight of the movie. I think it could have been like, something that they breezed through and past. And I have nothing against Miss LA.
That's my girl, silly love song, man. Something in my heart, man. I'm not hating on my girl. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Y'all can attack me, ladies. I'm sorry.
In the movie where I was like, girl, you letting these niggas beat the shit out of you like that for real? Like, no. And then for me, if you beating on me like that, you not gonna have no easy for career.
Girl, no more
I'm
lies.
gonna make your life
I mean, she was saying, okay, man. Can we move on? Because I'll dig myself further in here because ladies, I'm not a woman beater. I'm not a woman beater and all that stuff, man. I don't hit on women. I don't like all that stuff. But, I am one to know that people came up with different lives and lifestyles and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that it's right when this stuff happens. I'm just saying, so like I'm not throwing shade. Like, I feel Queen. I forgot about it because I did
maybe they
take
should
an
have showed
interest.
it on ESPN.
No, I'm not saying that either. Yeah, with Miss Shirley in them skimpy outfits, she gonna be playing football in a skimpy outfit with that sex ass. Yeah, boys. Yeah. You put it on ESPN.
Last but not least, I don't know if y'all heard about Ben and Jerry. They supported the Black Lives Matter.
That's what's up, Ben and Jerry.
Yes.
So they had a couple of people where they wanted to get some ideas on some names for some ice cream. So here are a couple of names. It says Swing Low, Sweet Cherry Knot, Fudge the Police.
Yeah, I like that one.
Wish a Motherfudger Would.
Yeah, I like that one too.
too.
White Devil's Food Cake.
Yeah.
Strawberry Woke Cake.
Okay, they get a little nasty.
Fudge Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He was unarmed though.
I'm dead on that one. I like that one though. He was unarmed.
Here's
though.
another one. Yes, we butter pecan.
I like that one.
By any creams necessary.
That's right in line.
Man, what?
By any creams necessary. Which ones?
Rum and raisin awareness. Mike Pence chocolate chip flip flop.
See, I don't know. I like the Mike Pence idea, but not in line with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. Rocky Road to Justice. Once
I
she
do
go
like
Black
that.
Cherry.
Hey,
Once she go Black Cherry.
hey,
Yeah.
I like
I
that
like
one.
that.
Rocky Road to Equality. Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
I have a cream.
See, okay. How many more they got? I'm finna start my outward thinking and stuff.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
Mm-hmm. Huey P. Nougat.
Oh.
Shea butter pecan.
See,
No
I'm
justice,
with
no
you,
peach.
Square. It started to sound like some porn type
Yeah.
stuff.
UAP Nougat. Yeah. That's a great name.
Man.
UAP Nougat.
Hands up, don't scoop.
Okay.
Boycotting candy.
That's kind of sound kind of.
Yeah, fruity.
Yeah.
Let my people glow.
Ron said big black cocklet.
That's what I'm talking about, Ron. Him and what's that? Huey P. What was that again?
Huey P. Nougat.
Nougat, yeah. And Rum Black Cocklet. Starring in Bad Black Nurses 7. Okay, I'm sorry.
So that's just a few of them. Shout out to Ben and Jerry for supporting the Black Lives Matter. They said, "Nuck if you buck nog."
Nuck if you buck nog.
Egg nuck if you buck nog.
Oh nah.
Oh yeah, see, you got to be very clear with us.
In love with the cocoa.
I'm in love with the cocoa.
No, cookie dough and discriminate. Yeah, they came up with some wild
I'm
ones.
done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay, so that finishes the segment for Give It To Him,
Wait a
Queen.
minute, I got another one.
Uh-oh, she got another one.
And another one.
Trump orange sherbet with tiny nuts. All right, I'm done.
Wow.
I can't even comment on that one.
That would not be a bestseller. Who wanna see tiny nuts? I'm just saying.
Right.
We talking about ice cream, my fault. All right, so now we gonna go to the next segment. The noble himself is gonna lead us into my nigga of the week.
My nigga of the week. What up, party people? How about them Cowboys today?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I got on my shirt today. I was waiting on somebody to chime in because somebody was watching last week throwing all kind of hate. But anywho, this week, my nigga of the week is none other than In My Dreams baby mama Nicki Minaj. Under the radar, she commented on something well, it just kind of struck me and it just kind of caught me back. Well, it caught my eye. And what she did was she called out a couple of people on promoting racial double standards. And one person she called out was none other than your boy Kanye West.
Kanyeezy.
Yeah.
You know, basically what she was talking about, and she's got it coming up in the upcoming November edition of Marie Claire. You know, she talked about how black women are treated in pop culture, and what she basically said about Kanye is when he rapped about gold digger, he said, you know, she's tired of black women feeling that when our black men get rich, they're going to leave them for a woman of a different race. It wasn't funny when Kanye said he when he get on, he'll leave ass for a white girl. And Kanye happens to be with a white girl now. It wasn't funny when he said it was the fucking truth. And then another person she got on was your boy, Mr. Osborne's wife, Sharon Osbourne, the View host. And when she got on that, she continued to talk about that when she was in reference to his wife, Miss Kim Kardashian. When she turned her attention to Miss Osbourne, she pointed out that the double standards continue when comparing Kardashian's new selfie to Minaj's provocative cover art for her single Anaconda. She referred to Minaj's cover as cheap porno cover on a DVD, while calling the Instagram selfie inspiring. But then when Kim Kardashian naked pictures came out, of course, your girl Sharon Osbourne praised it. And so, of course, Nicki's fans attacked her for being a hypocrite. But it wasn't so trashy and raunchy when a white woman did it, but it was when a black woman did it. You know, it's sad.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like what I'm not gonna say it disturbs me because it doesn't really surprise me. But what bothers me most about that is the fact that Kim Kardashian has no recognizable talent.
None.
Have you seen her act? Like, what was some movie she was acting in?
I saw her acting that Ray J flick. He was dicking her ass down. I ain't lying. Yes, I watched that shit. Hell yeah, Ray J. Fuck that motherfucking slut, man. She has no talent.
None. And then Nicki Minaj at least got a discernible talent.
She got all kinds of talent.
And yeah, she does. And then you want to compare a no talent Caucasian woman that only makes it because of her body and selling her body
Right.
to a black woman who uses her talent to sell records and do shows and promote shows and all that kind of stuff. And actually, you know, may not have the highest of standards, but does have some kind of standard. I mean, I don't, you know, it's only because she's Caucasian that she's made it this far.
Well, all I'm saying is, Nicki Minaj is my nigga of the week.
Yeah.
It's the first time ever doing this. I wish I had an award and I could deliver it to you.
The golden pole of justice.
Man, I chose. We're not gonna get into that. But I just thought that was interesting, man. You know, it is a double standard out there, especially. You know, and I'm surprised she didn't come up with when he said he just wanted that all mixed race, whatever that fashion show where he was saying it could only be lighter women or mixed race women in his fashion show that he had and it flopped, which I'm glad it flopped and he got mad at all the fucking, damn you Kanye West. I still think you and your wife set up that damn robbery, you broke.
Yeah.
Mickey said Kim Kardashian got some talent with her mouth.
She saw that Ray J shit. Ray J go in on that motherfucker, man. She do got a fat ass though, but she nasty.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't condone that type of activity, is what I said.
Man, whatever.
Yeah, but we're going to go ahead and take this first break, and we're going to come back and we're going to get into this Willie Lynch letter. Y'all stay with us, okay? All right. Break number 1. Here we go. Yeah. Cut the radio up. Okay, let me pick this up.
Brave Star.
I'm gonna have to say this. I got the Willie Lynch letter where the final call niggas they got stuff. They got it broken down.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Sexy.
All right. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna intro the read
Get this final call, man. Promise you, it's when you pull it up, it's broken down. It's actually from their website, and they got it in bold, and they got it broken down. It's the actual letter.
Because the letter itself is not that long, though. That's why I say I want to go. I want to read a portion of it, discuss it, read another portion.
That's what I'm saying. If you pull that one up, it's got the letter. Just I know it's not long, but it's got it broken down where he was breaking down how to break down every second. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, and that's why I said, wow, I never saw this version. But I like how it's broken down. You see what I'm saying? From prostitution, make it a Negro, let's make a slave. Yeah, yes. Yeah.
And my computer's tripping.
They gotta find a call card on this the app where it says pass the press. I just put in the Willie Lynch letter.
I'm trying to click on it because I see the final call, it's just not pulling it up. It's taking forever to pull it up.
I've been trying not to read it while I was trying to be uplifting during our earlier segment. That man said, right?
I mean, it opened your eyes to a lot of things.
We need to read this, but that hood section ain't go. And it's sad. It's sad.
Come on, man. It ain't.
Just say fuck each other. the page you love to hate. Fuck, you walk to a truck.
Man, okay, fuck it. You know what?
I don't know how much stuff you got, but I don't think you got the right thing.
Alright, I'm just gonna do this. Alright, y'all ready?
Yeah, we ready, bro.
We ready. Alright. I'm just gonna do the little intro. You'll read it though?
You want me to read the letter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, not the whole thing in its entirety, but just like read the first 2 paragraphs, then.
I'm gonna read where he introduced. Yeah, I'll read that.
Yeah.
Let's make a slave. Yeah, I will do it in expeditious manner.
Okay, there we go. Hey, welcome back to the It's About Time show. I am your co-host Chuck Beard, and I got a little technical difficulty going on here. I got the wrong button pressed. Dang it, we gotta start over. Okay. My bad, y'all. Apologize, Facebook Live. My fault. Technical difficulties. Hey, welcome back to the It's About Time show. I am your co-host Chuck Beard. Tonight we're talking about the Willie Lynch Letter. You've heard us allude to it a lot of times on the show. You've heard us talk about different excerpts from it. But what we felt like we really needed to do was to give y'all the letter in its entirety and start breaking it down so that, you'll be enlightened. And really, this is a show I feel like, tell your friends, tell your family members, bring your kids close, because as black people, this is something that still affects us to this day. And we talk about them and the system and, these other adjectives. And this is where all of that originates from. And because we have the man with the voice on the show, I asked him to, read the letter. Or begin reading the letter, and then we're just going to take time and talk about different parts of it. So, if you got your kids close, bring your kids close. Let's discuss this, man, because this is something that we as a community need to talk about because we got to get past what's in this letter. But, okay, I'm done talking for right now. I'm sorry, Squid.
All right, people. This is the Willie Lynch Letter, The Making of a Slave. Anybody, just go Google search this letter. This letter is being read from the final call because it is broken down in paragraphs. I read the letter outside of this, but I find this more appealing because of how it emphasizes a lot of stuff. So give us time because this is important. This is important, y'all. So just listen up. This speech was said to have been delivered by Willie Lynch on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712. Lynch was a British slave owner in the West Indies. He was invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners there. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I should thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I'm here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for the controls of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You're not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I'm not here to enumerate your problems. I'm here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that, if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is it tall or short? Now that you have a list of the differences, I should give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, should carry on and would become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have white servants and overseers who distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you for reading that, man. And that's actually,
Ooh, my blood boiling.
I know, it's actually,
Ooh, I didn't mean to inflict all that. I'm sorry.
it's painful to listen to.
Yeah.
What struck me
Mhm.
is the very last part of the letter.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Don't say that. No, we gonna talk because we're gonna break it down. I wanna go from beginning to end.
Y'all, please comment on this, man.
And the end of the letter to me is the most troubling and the most powerful part of the letter. That's why I want to say that for last, because like, all right, in the first part of the letter, it talks about the uprisings. It talks about, really it breaks it down saying that your slaves are no more than property. Black people, or Africans in America in the diaspora, are no more than property. They are subhuman. And that's what it talks about. You're losing valuable stock because we didn't get looked at like people. We weren't people. And when it talks about the uprisings, and it's still true to this day. Whenever we try to rise up or revolt, there's that fear that gets planted and that seed that gets planted. Like with, I don't know if y'all seen the Gullah Wars.
Yes.
Birth of a Nation, Nat Turner, Black Wall Street, the Civil Rights Movement, the War on Drugs, which was actually created by the CIA.
We've had some long segments, but how they have this broken down, I really want to read the rest of this to make y'all mad. It's really not that long, but it's gotten broken down in sections. It's got it, let's make a slave, cardinal principles for making a Negro. Then it's got the breaking process of the African woman. I really wanted to read, I got to read that. The Negro marriage, warning, possible interloping negatives, and then controlled language. Those are how it is broken down.
If you type in I'm on the same page. I'm on my phone though, but if you type in the Willie Lynch Letter in Google, the first link that comes up is from the Final Call. This is the site that he's talking about, and it breaks it down, the letter completely down. If you don't understand the letter itself. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chuck. I mean,
no, you good.
We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, man. And this kind of ties into the political state we're about to face. I mean,
this is is exactly.
Man, this your boy. You could put your boy Trump as Willie Lynch, but it's bad.
Well, I mean, it's two sides to this, man. Like, cause one is boosting up the slave owners, and then the other one is devaluing the slaves or the black people themselves. And one of the things that I saw when I was reading it is what we see now whenever police shoot black people and it gets to mass media, or white people shoot black people and it gets to mass media. The African male or the black male is seen as a beast or a subhuman or a demon or property. Go ahead.
To your point, this is in the Let's Make a Slave section.
Okay.
This is Let's Make a Slave, the original development of, and I'm not starting from the beginning, but I'm getting to what Chuck was just saying.
Mm-hmm.
The original development of a social being called the Negro. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a black nigger man, a pregnant nigger woman, and her baby nigger boy. Second, we would use the same principle that we used in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. What we do with horses is that we break them from one form of life to another. That is, we reduce them from their natural state in nature, whereas nature provides them with a natural capacity to take care of their offspring. We break that natural string of independence from them and thereby create a dependency status so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure. I'm sorry.
So do y'all understand what he just read, basically? So basically, he is saying that you get a nigger man and a nigger woman whom is pregnant and their child, and you have the nigger woman become so independent. Not only the fact that her owners, her slaves, are knocking her down, but they're knocking her down in a way for her to seem smarter than the man and more independent than the man. Mm-hmm. So therefore, the man feels like he's not needed anymore. Right. So he dipping.
But hold on. And let's fast forward that to now. Yep. Because I'm gonna show you how, or we're gonna talk.
We got to do that for when we break this down, and that's good you're doing that.
Because what we saw was, even though that happened, the black family still maintained was intact after that, right? Mm-hmm. After slavery, during the civil rights era, all of that. But then came this system called welfare, right? Mm-hmm. And in welfare, you could not have a man in the house. So, in an effort to, because the Willie Lynch thing worked for so long and it stopped working because we saw past that, now you got households where men just cannot be present.
I'm glad you led into that.
Go ahead.
The cardinal principles for making a Negro, excuse me on the link because this needs to be read. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both of the beasts together, the nigger and the horse. We understand that short-range planning economics results in periodic economic chaos, so that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skills, sharp perceptions. We lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning. Both horse and niggers are no good to the economy in the wild or natural state. Both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. For orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Both must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor. Both must be taught to respond to a peculiar new language. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. We hold the 6 cardinal principles as truth to be self-evident, based upon following the discourse concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse and the nigger together, all inclusive of the 6 principles laid down above. Note, neither principle alone will suffice for good economics. All principles must be employed for orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or natural nigger is dangerous even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so, might kill you in your sleep. You cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake, and are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous near the family house, and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now the breaking process is the same for both the horse and the nigger, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, there's an art in long-range economic planning. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger.
Man, you know what that makes me think of? And I said it at first. The war on drugs. I mean, because what happened with the war on drugs, they take, well, okay, number one, they take the jobs out of the economy.
Right.
For the black men. Then they give them or introduce something into the economy in
By
the black
taking
neighborhood.
jobs out, that means they don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's more.
Go ahead.
A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generation.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. For her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse. A female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the break with two captured nigger males in their natural state, a pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring. Take the stud horse, break him for a limited containment. Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in her comfort. Breed the mare and the stud until you have the offspring, the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand, and she will in turn train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also. When it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and the most restless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, the female, and the nigger infant, tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse face in opposite directions, set him afire, and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining niggers. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding.
And that's exactly what with the police, that's what we see going on today. You act up, you talk back, you do anything, make a wrong movement with the police. That's that example that they said. And then it gets thrown out in social media now that we have social media, so that the whole world gets to see your death. Then, in the process of seeing your death, you get to see the black male villainized and the slave patrol exonerated. And back to what I was saying earlier with the war on drugs, the CIA drops. Well, okay, number one, they take the jobs away from the black people. The CIA drops drugs in the neighborhood, guns in the neighborhood, gets everybody to fight over territories where they're going to sell and distribute, and then locks everybody up, or locks all the black men up. So you got a generation of black men where you see this cycle starting all over again, where the woman is left with the child in the home, and now they're raising a generation that says, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And
it's happening, like you said, Back in the day, lynches were glorified.
Yep.
You had a showing. It was a time like you going to the movies.
Yeah.
We going to see such and such get hanged.
They would
today.
take their young boys up here,
Their
get up here,
kids,
boy. Let's take a
their
picture. See
children
this?
sitting there
Hold that
watching
rope.
this. So what you seeing on the media is not something that's new. That's just starting to happen. Like this been happening just in a different form.
Mm-hmm.
Like this letter is so deep and
I
so
like this, man.
present to what is going on today. Like it is almost. I'm looking. This letter is 2016.
And this is how he said it continued. He promised you it could continue for generations. And the next part, ladies, I want y'all to listen. Men, I want y'all to listen because these next two breakdown of these paragraphs, it is hitting home, especially with our black families.
Mm-hmm.
The next is the breaking process of the African woman. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offsprings in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we should go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger. We have reversed the relationship. In her natural, uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring and will raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. Mm-hmm. Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychologically dependent status to a frozen, independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reverse roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train nigger women out front and then the nigger man behind and scared, excuse me. You got the nigger woman, wait a minute, let's read that again. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offsprings to be psychologically independent. Mm-hmm. What have you got? You got the nigger woman out front and the nigger man behind and scared. This is a perfect situation of sound sleeping economics. Before the breaking process, we had to be alertly on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly. For out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us. He cannot get past her early slave molding process. Mm-hmm. He is a good tool, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. By the time a nigger boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit of good labor force. Continually through the breaking of uncivilized savage niggers, by throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independence, by killing the protective male image, and by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male slave, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever, unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the position of the male and female slaves. We show that what we mean by example. Take the case of the two economic slave units and examine them close.
Man, okay. Go ahead, please.
I was just saying, I mean, what he just read, it sounds like a lot of single parent households.
Yeah, it sounds like almost all the single parent
because
households.
it's like now that he read that, it's like how many, and I hear it a lot when I used to work at my old job. So many young women and some older say, I don't need a man to do this. Mm-hmm. I can take care of my son. I said, but you can't teach your son how to be a man though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they are programming a child that's saying, well, I'm so independent that I can do this by myself. I don't
And
need
it's
you,
so
you,
sad
and you.
they don't know any better.
They
You know,
don't, and I was like,
they
why do you
program
think that?
the little girls like that.
Mhm.
Same
That's
thing
why.
for the girls,
Well,
too.
no. Like the little boys, and this is what I've seen, and you know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. The little boys, basically, okay. Number one, they start getting in trouble in school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the way the education system is designed, like men in general don't do well in that system because
Right.
women are, you know, this is no knock on men, no knock on women. Women, you know,
It
they
says
don't
right here.
have that creative, you know, like
We
well,
can tend to be more reserved.
We were
Right.
taught to
Not-
work.
not just no, not even that. It's not just more reserved. It's like women are able to sit down for longer periods of time. You try
Right.
to sit a little boy down, you're gonna have the hardest
Right.
time in the world. Like little boys got so much energy, but you want to sit a little boy down for 8 hours a day,
Right.
and because this is an alpha male, you know, he want to get up and run. He want to go do this. He want to go wrestle and fight with his, but he can't. And
Right.
then if he does any of those activities, he's suspended, which is what you're seeing. He's expelled, is what you're seeing. You know, he's labeled. His record follows him for the next 12
Chastised
years.
so much, he just like, fuck it.
Yeah, you breaking him at school, and then he goes home to this single parent household where the mother, who we've already established doesn't necessarily know how to raise a male, she's like, you can't say nothing to my son, you can't
Right.
and in the meantime, not recognizing that this young man needs to get this energy out and needs to have this energy focused, which is why they build jails for people that don't read past a third grade level, especially black men that don't read past a
What
third
you
grade
saying
level.
here? By 16, they'll be broken.
Yeah, either you broken or they got a jail cell waiting for you,
Waiting for you.
where you gonna be a slave according to the 13th Amendment. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But then they put a lot of these young black males on ADD medicine,
Yep.
ADHD medicine,
Yep.
and it's so many teachers. It's like if a child, especially a black male, can't sit still, it's something wrong with him. So the mom and some dads I see go out there and literally take them to the doctor, and they explain the situation, what's going on, and then they automatically give him medicine. So
And
now that child is programmed.
My
that I
brother
can't-
was on that medicine growing up, and the only best way to describe it is he was a zombie.
That's-
I think that
Um,
it shuts down their creativity.
It does.
It shuts down their natural state, like they talk in the Willie
See,
Lynch. Their natural state, it shuts it down.
And you can really break it down. The uncivilized are these fools that are hanging on the street. And he's saying it right here. You gotta, these women, they're gonna go to them. And they're gonna keep producing.
Yeah.
It's just gonna create a cycle.
A vicious cycle.
People, and you let me know if you're ready. We got time because the next, and it's a small paragraph, it's the Negro marriage.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back with the Negro marriage after the break. Then
Yes,
we're gonna start. That's the end of the letter right there?
Hell no, you got two more.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then after that, we're gonna get into the other two, and then we're gonna start kind of breaking it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I got questions that I want to throw out to everybody about what we're seeing.
Hey, we spitting some hot fire, people. We spitting some real
We
shit
got a hot
today.
fire for you. Like I said, if y'all don't have your kids near, get your kids near, because what we're talking about is something that still affects our community. Y'all give us 1 minute, we'll be right back with you. Woo! You want something to drink?
Some water.
Huh?
Water.
Okay. I'm finna see. I see one of them will break it down. Cause we still on Facebook Live. Finna play some music for y'all. Debauchery. Here we go. Oh, gotta cut it up though.
Down shows us the height
Right back.
up. And so now it becomes very dangerous for those who want to keep the world revolving, built and debauched life.
I grabbed a pen and started writing in shorthand then. Like a bring a pen, let my finger in, let my finger in. Be a brown black folk, tired of bullshit.
We interrupt this circuit 94 repeat. Bring you an important news bulletin.
You know the verdict, the boy got murdered. Basically, they saying to him all that he deserved it. It's so perverted, can't get justice in the backyard. And as you know, we up against some very stacked cards. How it feel to be in the test still. How much more gonna have to be spelled well. From the shot, niggas die every day. And that really shit, the industry perpetuate. On rap videos, rapping big head hoes. Mouth full of gold, but we got no gold. These laws with their flaws, let you stand and grab it. When the revolution come on, we gonna stand around and watch their bodies.
It's the end of the world. It's the end. It is.
Once we begin to evolve spiritually, we look at the value of our wives, the value of our children, and the value of family. Pimps, our businessmen, that they're using this here in a negative way. So Malcolm was a pimp. Malcolm was a thief. Malcolm was a hustler. But Malcolm became a world leader. So the depth down shows us the height. And so now it becomes very dangerous for those who want to keep the world evolving in filth and indecency and debauchery.
Not gonna hear me eat chips.
Man. And you won't be out there with me. Salt and pepper,
Love salt and chips. What's up, Carl Davis? Thank you for tuning in.
some sour cream in there. What's up, man?
Yep. So, my extra smart behind. I can't wait to get a bowl of this beef stew. Oh shoot, 6 people. Y'all stick with us, man. We're coming right back. That beef stew's amazing. I can't wait to chop it.
I think I need some more vegetables to put in it. Maybe. Hey y'all.
Alright, y'all ready? Alright. Woo. It's probably gonna be a really long show today. Cause we got 2 30-minute. Well, that was 27 minutes on that last segment. The first one was like 31, 32 minutes. All right, welcome back to the It's About Time show, and we are about to continue our conversation on the Willie Lynch Letter. All I can do is take a deep breath because it's painful to talk about and it's painful to read, but it has to be dealt with because we still live in the era where this is still being pushed upon us, and we got to figure out
how to break the cycle.
Exactly.
You gotta break the cycle.
Exactly. But now we're to the point where we're gonna talk about the nigger marriage.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm gonna do, because it's this paragraph and two more, I'm gonna combine the Negro marriage, and the warning and possible interloping negative. So I will let you know when I break in between. If you guys would say afterwards, because the Negro marriage paragraph is small, which I find interesting in itself. But here we go.
Because they destroyed the family. You don't need
Yeah,
a
they had to
paragraph
say
for
much
it.
on this, I guess.
Ugh.
We breed 2 nigger males with 2 nigger females. Then we take the nigger male away from them and keep them moving and working. Say one nigger female bears a nigger female, and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females. Being without influence of the nigger male image, frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offspring into reverse positions. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. We negotiate with her, through her, by her, negotiate her at will. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen subconscious fear for his life, will raise him to be a mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now in a few years, when these 2 offsprings become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. That is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. Warning possible interloping negatives. Earlier we talked about.
Hold
Okay,
on.
sorry. Go ahead.
Before you go to the next segment, the whole aim of this letter is to make the black male weak. I mean, that's the recurring theme in the letter.
Recurring thing.
Make the black man weak. And it's not necessarily that it's making the black woman weak.
Because if you notice, it's to instill a certain level of independence on her.
Right.
So it is, in a way, to be seen as smarter than the male because she is independent. Cuz was having a conversation the other day where he works, and sometimes I be listening and I'm nosy. And he asked the guy for some information, and the guy was like, well, I gotta go ask my wife for it, and I don't keep up with that kind of stuff. And it struck me because you really don't hear that often anymore.
Right.
But when you do hear it, it's kind of sad because if that wife was to leave, he would be lost. And it's almost as if she, the wife, has treated him like a child.
I mean, and then, okay, if you look at now, most black women, most black women make more than their black male counterpart.
We making more money now.
And most black women are more educated than their black male counterpart.
Right.
And because of that, it causes a certain dissension within the house. We talked about the reversing of the roles. That's exactly where you get the reverse. And then the main cause of divorce is finance. Or what they say is finance. I mean, and if you reversing the roles, you already got a problem with the money that's coming in the house. And you got somebody that's used to being independent. Despite what the church may tell her that she should be, you submit to your husband. But every church you go in, you say submit in front of women.
They like, oh,
exactly.
You ain't supposed to do that.
Exactly. So I mean, you effectively have reversed these roles. Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
But I think this is what you're doing. Beautiful segues into the breaking down into these next topics, man. And I think this is what this is talking about. This is the warning. Possible interloping negatives. Earlier we talked about the non-economic good of the horse and the nigger in the wild or natural state. We talked out of the principle of breaking and tying them together for orderly production. Furthermore, we talked about paying particular attention to the female savage and her offspring for orderly future planning. Then more recently we stated that by reversing the positions of the male and female savages, we create an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever unless a phenomenon occurred and shifts position of the male and female savages. Our experts warned us about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring. For they say that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time if it can touch some substantial original historical base. And they advise us that the best way to deal with the phenomenon is to shave off the brute's mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions, so that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit, something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. This creation of multiplicity of phenomena of illusions entails the principle of crossbreeding the nigger and the horse, as we stated above, the purpose of which is to create a diversified division of labor, thereby creating different levels of labor and different values of illusion at each connecting level of labor, the results of which is the severance of the points of original beginnings for each sphere illusion. Since we feel that the subject matter may get more complicated as we proceed in laying down our economic plan concerning the purpose, reason, and effect of crossbreeding horses and niggers, we should lay down the following definition terms for future generations. Orbiting cycle means a thing turning in a given path. Axis means upon which or around which a body turns. Phenomena means something beyond ordinary conception and inspires awe and wonder. Multiplicity means a great number, means a globe. Crossbreeding a horse means taking a horse and breeding it with an ass, and you get a dumb, backward ass, long-headed mule that is not reproductive nor productive by itself. Crossbreeding niggers mean taking so many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many nigger women as possible, varying the drops by the various tone that you want, and then letting them breed with each other until another circle of color appears as you desire. What this means is this: put the niggers and the horse in a breeding pot, mix some asses and some good white blood, and what do you get? You get a multiplicity of colors, ass backward, unusual niggers running tied to backward ass long-headed mules. The one productive of it itself, the other sterile. The one constant, the other dying. We keep the nigger constant, for we may replace the mules for another tool. Both mule and nigger tied to each other, neither knowing where the other came from, neither productive for itself nor without each other. Man, y'all be getting this shit, man. You go crazy,
I.e. the feminization of the black man. I mean, crossbreeding to produce a sterile, long-headed dumbass.
Oh, the last paragraph.
Go ahead, man, because I can't.
This is it. This is it.
Okay.
Controlled language. Crossbreeding completed. For further severance from their original beginning, we must completely annihilate the mother tongue of both the new nigger and the new mule, and institute a new language that involves the new life's work of both. You know, language is a peculiar institution. It leads to the heart of a people. The more a foreign knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society. Therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of the country, to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable. To that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. For example, if you take a slave, if you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets, and he is then no more a slave, for you can't fool him any longer. And being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of any incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system. For example, if you told a slave that he must perform in getting out of our crops, if he must perform in getting out our crops, and he knows the language well, he would know that our crops didn't mean our crops. And the slavery system would break down, for he would relate on the basis of what our crops really meant. So you have to be careful in setting up the new language, for the slaves would soon be in your house, talking to you as man to man, and that is death to our economic system. In addition, the definitions of words or terms are only a minute part of the process. Values are created and transported by communication through the body of the language. A total society has many interconnected value systems. All the values in the society have bridges of language to connect them for orderly working in the society. But for these language bridges, these many value systems will sharply clash and cause internal strife or civil war. The degree of the conflict being determined by the magnitude of the issues or relative opposing strength in whatever form. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen and train him to live there and incorporate him to value is as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean, or the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in his language whereby he comes to value a horse more than he does his hog pen. You got a problem. He will soon be in your house. That is the Willie Lynch Letter.
I mean, and okay, we're gonna deal with how do we get out of the Willie Lynch Letter, but I want to go back because it's so much in the letter, man. Damn, like it's so much in it that it's just so prevalent to today's time. But Carmen did make a comment. She said that the letter has no provenance, which is point of origin, and it's considered to be a fake, right? However, I mean, okay, we have a date, we have an author, we have a place where it was delivered. My thing is, if you wanted to hide something from people, what would you tell them? And I remember reading this letter in the early 90s, and it was considered to be true at the time. And when it became mainstream towards the late 90s, early 2000s, that's when they started saying that it has no provenance. And it wasn't until more people started reading the letter that information started being
And
shared.
it goes just like the Colin Kaepernick, because people don't want to get to the root of the real issue. They're going to skirt it off as, oh, that wasn't a real letter. But yeah, explain it. Yeah. Explain what I just read to you that was written allegedly back in the 1700s that is still prevalent right now.
That the wording of the letter was not in the same pattern that was used in the 20th century. And also the argument was that the demographic of the people, the problem like the skin color, the gender, it wasn't considered separated demographics back then. That's what their argument is.
Wasn't. But what they're saying is, you look at it, we make these light skinned and these dark motherfucking niggas, they will be different, and we will make them. That is not, man.
Well,
don't give me that.
They did have mulatto though.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, because it was, you had the nigger, you had the mulatto, and then you had white people.
The mulattoes were the mixed ones.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then that's creating a culture. As the letter described, it creates a culture of mixed individuals.
It was creating the demographic at the time.
I mean, just like if when I talk to my mom, going back to college in the 60s, and I ain't trying to touch on those Roy's and all this, most of your darker black women were deltas.
That's true.
Your very complected women were AKAs.
Yeah, they had the paper bag test.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
They had the paper
There
bag test.
is
That was real.
The test in the letter itself.
Man, let's fast forward to right now. If President Obama was 3 shades darker,
They'd have had him
Oh
out top.
no, he wouldn't have made it that far.
I mean, if he looked more like his Nigerian father,
Right.
Yeah,
then would he?
he wouldn't have made it that far.
I mean, so color is still,
It's still very.
yeah, shade
very.
of color is still a huge thing.
I experience it all the time
Yes.
because it's either you light skin, you think you pretty,
Right.
or you light skin, you are so beautiful. You are so. She's not beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not beautiful too. And I caught it growing up, you know what I'm saying? I caught special attention. I didn't know that's what it was when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I look back on it, that's what it was. It was special attention.
Yeah, and to tie on with that, it's age too.
Age.
Because they look at you and see a certain age, and, you know, they was like, you know, you're not old enough to counsel me. You know, you haven't experienced the life. are not capable of having knowledge because they say, oh, that was before your time, you know. So it's like it's still that discrimination against your age.
And it's so sad because I keep going back to they don't know any better. You want them to know better,
Right.
and you want to be able to have the comprehension and the maturity and the knowledge to know better. But some things is what it is. You don't intentionally, some people intentionally teach their children racism. But I think I brought this up a couple of shows ago. Most racism is not intentionally taught.
Right.
Like, you got a kid watching their mama grasp her pocketbook when a black man, and if that kid is with their mama every time that happens, they gonna do it because that's what they watch their mama do.
Right.
They don't know that it's right. They don't know that it's wrong.
Yeah.
They just know that's what their mama did because that's their protector. That's their holder. Every time, a black man sit down next to the father and he scoops over or he does some type of gesture, if that happens every time that the kid is around, it don't have to be said, son. Just as a black man sitting next to us, you need to scoot over or don't talk to him. Just the action itself is picked up.
It's learned behavior.
It's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it is. It's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
What Felicia has gone through, what I have gone through is a learned behavior, unfortunately. I have a relative right now who experienced it. She has lighter relatives. She is one of the darker ones. Her own relatives.
Yeah.
Relatives would say things and comments and you know what I'm saying, like she wasn't good enough because she was a shade darker than the rest of the family. This is our own family. But when you think about it, that's the learned behavior that even the family learned. They didn't know no better.
Yeah, it goes back to I was reading when I was in school, about giving the black kids white dolls, and it.
They did that in 2012. The same experiment came out the exact same way.
Yep.
And they asked, which one do you think is the good dog, which one is the bad dog?
Yep.
And it's an experiment in self-hate. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, if y'all know me, y'all know that I have not your average black girl hair, okay? I don't have your average black girl hair. And a lot of people would say, oh, you got good hair. You got good hair. I get that all the time. But I'm looking at this black woman that I appreciate approaching me saying, oh, can I feel your hair? Or your hair is so pretty or whatever the case may be. But and then it's, I wish I had your hair.
Yeah.
I wish I had your hair. I'm like, but you kind of do have my hair. You just got to learn how to take care of it or whatever. But, I mean, it's self-hate.
Yep.
It's that self-hate. I see it. I pick up on it all the time. Like, it's crazy. I was just saying to Cuz the other day, and it really aggravates me when it comes to black women.
Yeah.
I don't have to know you to speak to you. If I'm walking in the grocery store and you come out the grocery store and we make eye contact, we should be able to at least say, hey, how you doing?
We can't do that. And it's really sad because, if before I have my current job, I used to counsel and mentor a lot of our young people. And I still do from time to time, but it's being told that, you don't know what I've been through, so you can't be on the same level as me. I was like, how can I not? And it's like they program themselves like if you have a good job, it's always somebody you know to get you that good job. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. So I said, why are you hating me just because I had sacrificed my education and you choose the other route?
It's
so
that old versus young.
It's like
the young coming in, taking over, and the old is fear. But the old should be glorifying it.
No, they don't.
But,
they should be glorifying it, and they should be mentoring you and teaching you what they know.
It's sad because they feel like you're gonna take their job. That's like, and I get this all the time, and I have to literally fight for everything that I have. That's like, oh, you just started this job, so you're gonna have to wait. And they was like, why should she wait? Because if she's qualified, let her do it. And they hate to teach me things that they feel like I shouldn't know about. They's like, oh, you should wait, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. And so when I go to my old school at Howard, I tell these young girls, you have to empower yourself, and
Not
that's
only
something.
empower yourself, uplift each other.
And they don't want to do that because it's like, I'm not going to tell you how I got this and how I got that. So why is that?
The problem is, and I'm going to address that, then I'm going to go back to some message y'all said. The problem is, we live in a society that teaches us that we have to compete with one another, and that they're like, our economics is based on scarcity. Scarcity says that there's not enough. So if you're taught from day one to whenever, scarcity says that whatever it is, there's not an abundance of it. So if I got here, in order to keep myself here, it's only so much space for me to be right here. I can't allow anybody to move up. My other thing is, when you start talking about pitting the young versus the old and all of that, I watched the Jackie Robinson special on PBS this afternoon. And basically what happened, Jackie Robinson was a freedom fighter, basically. I mean, this man started a bank, that grew into 3 different branches. He was out with Martin Luther King. He was out with Malcolm X. This man was visible in the struggle. But then when it came around time when the Panthers started coming around, the Panthers was like, no, we don't want to do it that way. When you talk about the old versus the young. And a lot of times, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah. And for old people to get offended by what young people are saying, or older people with wisdom to get offended by what young people are saying, they're not putting themselves in the younger person's mindset.
Right.
Because we've all been taught through this letter that we just read that who we should not trust, what we should not trust. And we have to think that we weren't always as enlightened as we were, right? That being said, the younger people have to have a degree of respect, which
it's lacking.
It should have been earned in Jackie Robinson's case. However, when you feel like you know better, you're gonna try and do that. But okay, said all that now, cause I got some serious questions about what was said in like the first part of the letter and the letter in general, cause the first part was just like the preamble and everything else exploded afterwards. It says that fear. Hold on, where is it? I gotta find it. It says, I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies. How much does fear, distrust, and envy control us as a people? And I'm not just saying like in our interactions with each other every day. I'm talking about in our music that we listen to, in the schools that we go to, and people that we see as famous. We already talked about career-wise. And how much does that play a part in the church? I mean, the biggest institution in the black community is the church, period. And it's completely black-owned and contained in most instances. And how much does fear, envy, and distrust play a part in what goes on in these different places?
100%. Yeah. 110%, unfortunately. And almost without it, I find some people nowadays, they have to have it. They don't realize that's what they're holding on to.
Yeah.
But they have to have it to survive.
Yeah.
Without it, they don't know how to survive. They going crazy. They gotta have
some drama,
some type of drama,
yeah.
Some type of fear. I was talking to my son earlier today, and speaking of fear, we was talking about some options, and he was like, I don't know about that because I have to get on an airplane and I have to fly. And I'm like, well, it's okay to be scared of flying, but don't let that stop you from doing it. I've never been on an airplane before, and I'm scared out of my life, but I can't wait to get on an airplane because it's something that I want to experience, and I know that I need to experience. And that might hold me back from finding my future husband, or $1 million on the airplane, or something, but I'm not gonna let my fear hold me back.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of people allow their fear to hold them back, and that's within ourselves.
Right.
And then you got envy. You sitting over here, sitting out there in the cut, want this and want that. Ooh, I wish I had that. Ooh, I wish I had that. But you can get your ass up and get it yourself.
Right.
Just like that person, and you don't even know how that person got it. You don't even know how that person got it. You could probably get it just as easy as they got it. But you too busy sitting over here worrying about how they got it and mad because they got it. You can't even get nothing. And then that trust thing, oh my gosh. That trust thing is instilled in us when we're really young. I remember growing up, trust no one.
Yeah.
Trust no one.
That was taught.
It's a conflicting thought because you should grow up with cousins and friends and things like that. But then you got this something in your back end, trust no one. That is so conflicting to, I'm sure, a lot of people. And then it's just like, how do you know how to trust somebody? How do you trust? You know what I'm saying? What does it take for you to trust me or me to trust you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think 110%, it controls our community.
Yeah. Okay. Because, in the interest of time, I'm going to put these 3 questions out here. Because I really want to hear, I want to hear everybody's opinion on what this is or what we need to do. And, I want everybody to comment. But the first question is, how do we, as a people and community, begin to break through and destroy this system? I mean, we can all agree that it's systematically put in place and it systematically held us back. How do we begin to break through and destroy? Hold on. Let me say all 3 questions.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna put them all out there, and then everybody's gonna answer, and then because we don't have to wrap the show up. Then now that we know what we're up against, how do we enlighten other people about this systematic oppression? And then the last question is, okay, if you're not familiar with what happened at Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, basically we had a flourishing community of black people that was the first domestic bombing ever in the history of the United States, right? The largest mass murder of any people by the government on U.S. soil. Anyway, all that being said, because the black community in Tulsa, Oklahoma separated and was flourishing, they were seen as, they had to be gotten rid of, basically. So how do we guard against that? Once we learn how to break through, destroy the system, start teaching other people, how do we not have what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma happen to us again?
Hey, we got to get out of this, what we just talked about for the past
We gotta
hour.
break the cycle first
Okay.
in order to get to that point.
How do we do that first?
My immediate thought when he was reading the letter, the top of the letter originally, especially at the end, I wanted to say that real quick when it was like, have your children involved in this. These were children that was involved in corrupting minds and breaking souls and stuff like that. But my immediate thought is I was thinking about the Bible and how, because I always go back to Adam and Eve, and I believe that there is a purpose for a man and there is a purpose for a woman. And I don't think that a woman should be doing what a man should do, and I don't think a man should do what a woman should do. But to understand that, I think it go back to the roots of the Bible. And that's my immediate thought. I think it has to go back to somewhat of that root. And we have to understand that it's okay to submit to our men. It's okay to support our men. Because you highlighted it. The whole entire letter is the main focus is to break the male, the black male, not the white male, not any other male, but the black male. That is the main focus. And so it starts with women in a lot of ways. The cycle has to start with women. And as you can see, based on this cycle, we have been invented to be somewhat smarter than men So we need to take that and use that and get back into what the cycle should be. Because we gotta start supporting our black men. We gotta start appreciating our black men. We gotta start believing in our black men again. I think that's where it comes. It has to come from. And if you don't believe in submitting to your man, regardless of what color you are, that's what it should be anyway. But if you don't believe in that, then I think you should go back to the Bible and kind of read. If you believe in God, because it's not bad to submit to your man. Like I watched my grandmother do that, and I was encouraged to do it. I'm still encouraged to do it. But I really think that it's gonna have the root is gonna have to be the Bible, and then the second is gonna have to be the woman. We are gonna have to step our games up and get our men back on board.
Felicia, what you say?
I pretty much agree with what she's saying. I know with my daughter and myself, I say she's like a sponge. She sees everything that I do. I can think that she's not watching, but she is. So I have to set the foundation for her. Because whatever she sees me doing, that's what she's going to grow up and do, and that's what she's going to do with her kids. So I feel like in order to break the cycle, I have to start with myself first. Because I have a little girl just looking at me for everything. So if she's seeing me like, I'm so independent that I don't need nobody, she's going to think that's the way she should act, and that's the way she should grow up too. So I think it starts with yourself, and then if you have children, you need to make sure you are modeling the right type of behavior to your children, because your children do see things. They may not come out and tell you that, or they see what you're doing, because in my house it's an open communication, because you hear so many people say, act as I do as I say, not as I do. So I mean, I try to change that, because being a single parent for 12 years, Maya's just myself. So I want her to understand that that's not how it's supposed to go. And I try to tell her, there's nothing wrong, with that, because, so many young people my age and older, they say, they get so independent and they just have that mindset. And then when someone do try to come in their life, they so stubborn that they have that mentality like, oh, I'm not going to listen to you. We take the man out and we just make it seem like it's all about the women when it shouldn't be. So my thing is, it starts with self, and then hopefully if you do have children, you won't pass that negative image. So that way it won't keep being a repeating cycle.
Square, what you say?
After reading that letter all night, it's just so much we as a people can learn from. Just that letter, and just thinking about our lives in general. I don't feel like I was raised in a lot of ways, but then I can see some of the influences in my life in that way, based on the letter and everything. And it's just sad that something so powerful written years ago, I just keep harping on that. It's still prevalent, and people want to just shoo it and poo-poo it, but hey, we need to open our eyes. Yeah. We need to love each other, man.
Dude, the hardest, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the hardest person to correct is yourself.
And I learned, and I don't know, with this kind of, I know my flaws, I don't have a problem with them. You can bring them out. Yeah, that's right. I work on myself every day. I know what my issues are, my shortcomings, my strengths, my weaknesses, all that. But gosh, man, it's getting real out here, man.
Yeah.
I just wish we could just stop all the nonsense and just come together, because together we can rule this country, man. People don't see that.
No, they don't.
But then you think about this letter, it's just like, man, we got so far to go, and I don't ever think we would even reach.
I don't think it's gonna be in our lifetime.
It won't. Shit. This place is still here, boss.
Yeah.
I don't see it, and I hate to see it. I don't want to sound like Debbie Downer, but I don't, and it's sad.
Because this country was built on a lot of that. But okay, I'm gonna give my take on it, because the letter itself gave what we need to do in order to break it. It said that you cannot have the male, the nigger male, say it like it said it. You cannot have the nigger male learn the language. You cannot have the nigga male learn to read. And like basically what I'm saying is right now we got a culture of ignorance.
You saying
Right.
education?
Basically.
I'm not saying education, but not education in traditional sense. Education in terms of, okay, number one, we all know it's a game. And in order to get over, you got to learn how to play the motherfucking
That's
game.
what I say. And our biggest problem, and not to cut you off,
Go ahead.
is us and how we're taught. We got all this attitude. I can't stand this, and they not gonna talk to me that, man. Man, that shit ain't gonna hurt you. Buck it up, play that game.
Yeah.
Learn they shit.
Yeah.
That's what people don't really understand, and I
Yeah.
figured that out, man. You learn this game, man. Fuck them motherfuckers, man. You gotta, let them say whatever, just keep smiling. They want to get you mad, man. Fuck all that, man.
Yeah.
You can go cuss when you get home.
Yeah.
They want you to fall for
But-
banana in the tailpipe.
But this is what I'm saying. Okay, number one, it said, yeah, learn the language, learn how to talk, learn how to speak to them. Like, then the other thing is when you learning all of that, it said, we got to go pick our crops. You get older, you get wise enough to separate yourself from what's theirs versus what's yours, right? And you get wise enough to understand how to build yours, which is where we got to go second. And in the process of us learning the language and doing all that stuff, we also got to take into account the fact that other people have to start learning and breaking out of this cage as well. Because it's too many of us that learn the game, play the game, and want to go sit in our little cubby hole because we can afford to have a little cubby hole.
And
And
it's comfortable.
yeah, we get to go home and we get to go be comfortable.
You can only tell so many people, and I've told a lot of people, man, I said, life is a game. This is a game, man. You got to learn how to get in where you fit in and how to play both sides. You can only say it so much because some people just ain't letting bump all that.
But-
they got their mind trained.
But okay,
It's
this
the incognito.
but
The incognito.
this is my thing right here, and I learned this like through my marriage. I learned it through being a deacon at church, and I learned it through all different kinds of like teaching at Howard Middle School. If the questions that you're asking are not getting the desired results, figure out how to ask that question in a different way.
That's right.
And a lot of times we just want to say what we gonna say, make somebody get it. When in reality, all we had to do was say it a totally different way or shift it a little bit, and it could have been understood, and the conversation could have gone a totally different direction. But part of it is we got to start thinking. That's part of what we do with the show, or what we want to do with the show, is to have people start thinking. Because there's too many people that just react to shit. And when you caught in a reactionary mind frame, you're not going through all that you need to go
Not
through
going through the
mentally.
process.
I wish
Yeah.
a lot of people had that. And I don't know, it's one of the things about me. Before I act, or before I react, I'm going to sit back and think about it.
Yeah.
Let me sit back.
Let me marinate. on
Let me
this.
marinate on this for a minute before I just get all up in arms. And I know so many people are like that today, and I just be like, man, it really ain't that crucial.
Yeah.
Sit back and
Yeah.
just analyze, man. The thing you're arguing over, you boil it down, it really
Yeah.
is minuscule, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, man. I'm just gonna sit here, whatever. I'm
Like,
in there.
There was a psychologist that says if you can stop, I think it's Dr. Mark Goldstein on the Zoe What Morning Show. If you can stop and think about what you're about to say, and think about if this argument is going to have any relevance 1 month from now, 1 year from now, 10 years from now, is it really worth what you really about to say?
Just like the service last week, and I could have went the hell off like most people would have went off. But I'm gonna make some sly little slick comments just to keep myself appeased and to make everybody else happy. Because what the fuck, that ain't gonna bring it out here no faster. So I'm just gonna piss off, and I don't need nothing in my drink or my food. But we can make some old slick funny out of it. Ha, just to get my point across.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm not finna light you up.
Yeah.
People gotta realize, no.
Yeah, but okay. Look, we gotta wrap this show up.
Yes.
We've been on here for a while, and I knew this was gonna be a long show when we said we were gonna do it. But I think it's a necessary show. It's one that we're gonna have to come back to, like so many others, because we left so much out there. Felicia, since you are our guest, you got any shout outs that you want to do?
No shout outs today. No.
Okay. Square, what about you, homie?
Shout out to all the working people out there, getting on their grind, working for their families, everybody. Big shout out to y'all. Big ups and big ups to us. Another reminder, it's coming close for our Temple Ball next month.
Yeah.
12th annual Heises Temple Charity Ball, $50 per person. You will come out and have a great time. Can't make that Friday before, which is November the 18th, is our canned goods and cocktails party. 5 canned goods, $10. We prefer the canned goods, not your money. But come out and have a good time. Get like that with some good people.
All right.
Get
Queen.
hooked up with some good people. Shout out to the boys, Chris and Quinn, and just a special shout out, rest in peace to Joe.
Yeah.
I really miss that dog.
Yeah.
Y'all probably think he's my dog.
My friend. I'm sorry. That that song about the dog.
Yeah.
Sometimes go straight.
Y'all not gonna make me melt.
Was it your on the shout outs? Okay, I'm gonna shout out number one, JL Studios. The homie John got his tattoo studio.
Shout out to John. We came looking for you the other day.
Yeah, we went looking for you yesterday. I guess you ain't got to the shop yet, but it's right at the corner of the road and Lee Highway. Also shout out to Barber Kings on MLK. Terrence, keep me with the fresh cut. Appreciate you, homie. Menlo Park Grocery Store, Sean Daniels. City Code Music, that's Bear and Playboy C and Steve. Also, 100 Check Club, Circa 94 Beats, Black Folk Inc. Thank y'all for your continued support. I do want to say on next Saturday, the 22nd, from I want to say it's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. the Hamilton County Black Caucus is hosting an event at the Westside Baptist Church. So if you're able to come out to the event, the Westside Baptist Church is over in Austin Park off of 38th Street. It's behind the Bethlehem Center. But come out, I can't think of it. Christy Wilkerson, who's running for, I want to say, State Senate, is going to be there. So, if you can, please come out, show your support. We're going to be frying fish. I think the fish is free, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Free fish!
yeah, if y'all want a good fish sandwich, come on out, holler at us. Outside of that, I think that's all the shout outs I got. R.I.P. to my homie Joe Black. And as we always close out the show, not always, but for the remainder of the year, how we're going to close out the show, what we've been doing, the Black Panthers started and ended every speech by saying, power to the people, power to the black people, power to the white people, power to the red people, power to the brown people, power to the yellow people, power to the purple people, power to the people. All power to all people. And we out.
Yeah. Peace.
Please. Tell Stella. What's too big black cocklet? Big black cocklet.
Man, hey, I read that and fell out. I appreciate y'all hanging in there with us. Oh, Nicole Gilbert is the only one live now. She's sitting right here. Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate it, man.
You didn't have to call it.